Hmm? Wow! Hmm.
Guys, Mario Party 3 has been announced for Nintendo Switch Online. Well, again. See, it was announced in the September 2022 Direct, and after
406 days.
it has an official release date. I'm pretty sure that the amount of time from its original announcement to release on N64 was shorter than the time that we just endured. What, did they delay an N64 game in 2023? Regardless, it is finally going to be on Nintendo Switch Online's expansion pack, and I almost don't know what to do with myself. Except to talk about why I think Mario Party 3 is the best of the original trio, and probably my favorite in all the Mario Party games. Also, hello, it's good to see you. Did we play the intro? After getting a head start on introducing go-karts and sports to the Mushroom Kingdom, Mario set his sights on throwing parties with board games not long after. Mario Party 1 was very experimental and set the groundwork, if not roughly. For its first go-around, it was a very solid board game that balanced luck with skill, mixed with methods to permanently end relationships with your friends. If I had any. Mario Party 2 had everything and more. Rebalanced rules, great boards, remixed minigames, child abduction, oh, and who could forget the costumes? Man, we never got those back, did we? Where are my costumes? It's regarded as many people's favorite of the N64 era, some their favorite of all time. So it's no surprise that Nintendo specifically chose this sequel to re-release on the Virtual Console in the past, and no other entry. I can confidently say that 3 is the best one for me, personally. If 2 is your favorite, I understand that as well. It is a solid title and a beloved classic. If 1 is your favorite, who hurt you? But what exactly did the third and final Mario Party give us that makes it so different from its predecessors? Let's take a look. Load the cannon! As with the first 2 Mario Party games, the third has a story to it, albeit a light one. The Millennium Star, born once every 1,000 years, falls from the sky and very gently lands next to Mario. The crew starts to argue who should keep it, and like before, decides that Mario Party is the only democratic way to settle all the disputes and arguments in the Mushroom Kingdom. I want the real Mario Party board game. But then they all get transported into a toy box, changing the entire art style of this title. Do you enjoy toy box aesthetics? Because if you do, you're in the right place. And if you don't,
my guess is no one's ever loved you before.
And even though they don't show up in the opening cinematic, Daisy and Waluigi are playable characters too. The N64 was the era in which these characters rose and first started to gain their fans, and their portrayal in this game in particular is actually pretty cool. I'll give more specific context later, but both of them throw down with Bowser. Waluigi mops the floor with the guy, and Daisy just Team Rockets Bowser into the stratosphere. It's also one of the first documented accounts of somebody simping for Daisy. I cannot believe the audacity of this Starman when I'm standing right here. What about my mustache? On the topic of new characters, there are 5 new boards and 1 unlockable one, being the notorious Waluigi's Island. This is absolutely like one of the 2 most talked about bullet points of Mario Party 3. The funny island where all the spaces are the same and they change every turn. It's the most common thing ever talked about in regular conversation. Well, not today. If you have played Mario Party before, these spaces and the overall flow of the game will pretty much come to you like second nature, but let's do a quick recap. The star space is the most important space in the game. Reach it with 20 coins for a star, as always, and if you'll notice, Toad has retired. We've hired the fantastically mustachioed Millennium Star and this dicey boy Tumble to take his place. We love and appreciate Tumble in this house, thank you very much. He's a much cuter host than this thing. As for the common spaces, blues give you 3 coins, reds subtract 3, happening spaces cause an event depending on what board you're playing, Chance time is back to cause mayhem and trust issues. Bowser spaces upon landing on them. Well, hello to you too. As usual, this space causes all kinds of problems, though not as many this time. Bowser likes to give items away more than ever before, and can even give you coins if you know how. Battle spaces will pool coins together in a pot as per usual, followed by a battle minigame to determine who wins them. Item minigames are a sort of return to the single-player minigames from Mario Party 1. Instead of each board having the same single item minigame like in Mario Party 2, this time there's a proper pool of games to earn one from. Finally, there's... oh no. Let's not talk about this space right now. Later. All of the boards are notable in my opinion, and each come with a new feature called Action Time. Certain locations around the board will trigger an event in which you must perform a mini-game of sorts, testing your reaction time or button mashing. Some are a little trickier than others. No! Now who will sauce Luigi's spaghetti? However, you might not want to complete the challenge, depending on the situation. The main theme across every single action time is movement across the board. If you're savvy, you can manipulate the scenario to put yourself into a better position than before. Most boards will have spaces with a pink border indicating where you'll land if you fail in action time. Use this to your benefit. It's a cool extra little feature that allows the player to navigate the map more thoughtfully with just the right amount of random chance sprinkled in that keeps things interesting. There is a slight drawback to this, as boards are a little more aggressive in impeding your progress in other ways. Going into the middle of the board in chilly waters can offer a shortcut, but if a second player lands here, the lake will shatter and you'll have to go back a ways. And that's if you can run up and out of the lake in the first place. You're rolling the proverbial dice block with this one.
Oh my god!
Or something like Deep Blooper Sea, where you'll need to pick a button for a chance of going in the direction you want to here. It might shoot you off course to the opposite side, and even if you go the direction that you want to, if you land on the happening spaces, you're also going to be sent to the other side. Some are more forgiving than others, but they all do their part to try and balance traversal around the board. Knowing the board layout is more integral than ever in Mario Party 3. Another factor that balances traversal is the use of items. I know this is from Zelda, but close enough. It is basically the skeleton key of that game. Have you seen how the skeleton key changed in Mario Party 3? That key got pissed! Items got a sort of light overhaul in this game, and are essential in getting the upper hand even more so than in Mario Party 2. This is the first time that you can hold 3 items total, a staple of the series now. When you pass the item shop, either Toad or Baby Bowser will appear, and each sells different sets of items. The inventory will change throughout the game, so you just kinda have to hope and pray that you see the right shopkeeper. You have the items that you come to expect, like mushrooms, skeleton keys, magic lamps, but there's plenty of new ones too. Poison mushrooms will limit movement only up to 3 spaces. The lucky lamp will change the placement of the star if you need it. If you find a cellular shopper, you can call a specific shop for an item. Or if you have the Bowser phone, you can prank call Bowser and say that it was someone else, forcing a Bowser event upon them. That is just amazing. There's boo repellent so you can keep yourself safe from getting robbed. The warp block, while not its first appearance, is even more of a nuisance when players can carry up to 3 each. My friend Brandon Miracle swears by the warp block, by the way. For the record, can you explain to the audience why you think that the warp block is a top tier item in Mario Party?
I don't need science or data to explain Warp Block Gang. You are either a member or you're not. All bow down to Warp Block. Warp Block Gang merely requires your faith, my children. So the next time someone tries to sway you from buying a Warp Block at the item shop, just remember, Warp Block Gang is here for you.
See, this is an item that's left all up to chance. A gambling man's item, you might say. If it was my favorite, everybody would be calling me out for gambling with fate all the time. But when it's Brandon's favorite, nobody bats an eye. Am I the clown here? Not only does he make a fine argument, but boy does he look like a handsome dad while doing so. And then there's my favorite, and my religion, the reverse room. It causes any player or yourself to move backwards for their roll. The thing is, if you're at a junction, you can choose to keep moving backwards or forwards, completely ignoring the intended traversal methods of the board. Doing this can absolutely break some mechanics and can cause some ridiculous shenanigans to happen, which is probably why they brought the reverse room back in future titles for a grand total of 0 times. Earlier I mentioned that there are spaces on the board specifically for item-based single-player minigames, but sometimes landing on these spaces will cause Toad or Baby Bowser to descend from the item heavens. They'll ask you a question and your answer will determine how many items you get from them, if any. Usually with Toad, you want to answer more modestly and humbly. Humbly? Yeah, humbly! Humbly's a word, I swear! Budget Pooh Bear told me so. For Baby Bowser, you basically want to give the spoiled kids answer. They might not always be useful items. However, sometimes when you get Toad just the right answer, you'll get a very rare item that can't be bought from any shop or won in any minigame. This was the introduction of rare items, which are so powerful they can break the space-time continuum. Or, well, at least one of them can. The Koopa card lets you ignore the requirement to land on the bank space and simply lets you withdraw everything just by passing it. I trust you'll be using it more effectively than this CPU did. You can really make a mountain of cash if you want to risk waiting for just the right moment. The barter box. Listen, it's really hard to make these items appear, so you're just gonna have to get a visual approximation. So the barter box is pretty much the Chad plunder chest, allowing you to trade your entire inventory of items with someone else's inventory, up to 3 items in one trade. Perfect for those item hoarders. The Lucky Charm, no, not the cereal. You know what? Look, I'll explain the Bowtie Shy Guy soon enough, just not now. Go away. The fourth and final item is the Wacky Watch, the most bizarre item in any Mario Party game ever. By using this watch, the game, no matter how many turns you set the session to, no matter how many turns are left in the set, will twist it so that after the turn it was used, you will be sent to the final 5 turns of the game. Items, coins, stars, your spot on the board, all of that remains the same, but you can choose to shorten the game, or if used on the final turn, extend it by another 5 turns. The last 5 turns event will repeat as if nothing ever happened, which itself is an event where sometimes Bowser will predict who's going to lose this time, and then help you get there by taking coins and assisting with your bankruptcy. Game's mean, man. But that aside, if you're behind, you can use the Wacky Watch to give yourself enough time to catch back up. Or if you have a healthy lead, you can force the game to end sooner. We now have the option to extend the game with the push of a button in Mario Party Superstars, which makes the Wacky Watch feel less special, but back then, there were no items quite like it. Keep in mind, you can go through several games of Mario Party 3 without ever seeing a rare item, but they might also appear in a hidden block on the board or in an item bag from a shop. You never know. It makes their appearance all the more chaotic when it happens. The item set in this Mario Party is truly something unique. One of the aspects of this game that I love is the pace. You can set your characters to really zoom across these boards. It is such a welcome addition. And if you're like me, someone who played a 4-player game by themselves as a kid, you will greatly appreciate the ability to skip CPU minigames. Much more so in a mode that I've yet to cover. Minigames just feel faster and no nonsense, and even though you might get pelted with action times and battle minigames at points, it still goes by at a fairly quick pace, at least compared to other Mario parties. Unless you start playing The Beat Goes On, then life starts catching up and everyone is just kind of sad for a few minutes. And don't worry, I would never forget to talk about the minigames. Before I forget, I must state how I love the aesthetic of this game. Since we are contextually inside a toy box, the entirety of the game is made to fit this. In every board, the charming pre-rendered backgrounds all have pop-ups affixed to them throughout each one. These are all very bold, contrasting colors with thick outlines that give a playful art style. And this is consistent with every single minigame in Mario Party 3. It arguably looks simpler, but it does define itself from the other 2 party games on the N64. Looking back, I don't think there's a single reused asset in this title. It's pretty brilliant, even if toy box themes were something of a recurring trend in games at the time. If I had a coin for every time Mario on the N64 threw me into a toy box, I would have 2 coins, which isn't a lot. Like seriously, it's not a lot. What am I supposed to buy with 2 coins in this game? A pat on the back? There are 71 total minigames, and every single one is new. Free-for-all, 2v2, 1v3, battle minigames, item minigames, and now proper duel minigames. In Mario Party 2, there was exactly 1 duel minigame per board, which means you were sorely lacking in any variety. Now you can have proper 1v1s. And there's a good range of games, from time challenges, button mashing, reaction time, to foul play. There's nothing like competing with your girlfriend to see who's better at getting their eager hands wrapped around a chicken. If you've played Mario Party Superstars, a handful of these 70-ish minigames will already be familiar to you. Some of my very favorites in the franchise are in this one, like testing how fast you can clear Mario Puzzle Party. Ice Sword is such a good battle minigame, and a race to see how fast you can make 15 laps around this Mr. I, testing risk versus reward. Crazy Cogs is cleverly designed whether you're the single player panicking to blow everyone up, or one of the three panicking while avoiding getting blown up. Slapdown is quite possibly the most tense battle minigame as you patiently wait for the outside block to match the center. I have not been this stressed looking at flowers since Pikmin 2. There are some that are pure luck, like Marigold Chomp, essentially the new Bowser's Big Blast that's designed to get through the game faster and back to the board. Or Stacked Deck, which is a race to see who can screw who over first. There's your button mashers like Eats a Pizza, which if you're on my team for Eats a Pizza, don't worry, I got you. I'm just as good and shameless at eating pizza in this game as I am in real life. Then there's some like the infamous MPIQ, which just... oh my god, you guys. This is the second most talked about bullet point with this game. Some of these questions are either brain dead easy or absurdly specific. This game is impossible because if you're with other friends, it's only a matter of time before it devolves into everyone mashing the buttons to guess their way to victory. It's kind of miserable and hilarious either way. But if we're comparing the rate of games that are fun to play versus ones that make you want to long jump off a cliff, the ratio of good versus bad is pretty positive here. And Nintendo was very motivated to show off the 1v1 duel aspect introduced with Mario Party 3, because for the first time they introduced the concept of duel boards. Not just a side mode of the minigame room either, these are proper boards with their own sets of rules and mechanics. Duels do not function like regular battle royale maps. Instead of earning more stars than your opponents, you have a health meter this time. Your goal is to reduce your opponent's health to 0 with the assistance of various helpers and enemies from the Mario universe. The character you select has their starter partner that you can place either in the front or in the back. Every partner has an attack set and their own HP. You must pass by your opponent on the map with a partner in front of you, and when you do,
it's time to duel!
You initiate battle. If they have a partner defending them, they'll usually attack them first. If your attack power is higher than their partner's health, the remainder of damage will carry on to the player character. And of course, if there's no one defending, your partner will attack their life points directly. This might actually be Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, this is uncomfortably close to Dungeon Dice Monsters the more that I think about it. Do you remember Dungeon Dice Monsters? If you do, we're old. Don't worry if you're lacking partners, because every time you pass start, you can select a new one via the roulette. You'll have to carefully determine who should be positioned where, as some maps might change your partner position depending on the scenario. Oh, and also, be mindful that everyone has their own fee. At the start of each turn, you are required to pay partners if you want to keep them by your side. A reminder to pay your workers and pay them fairly, because if you come up short, they will walk out on you. Each partner has their own quirks. Some have their own unique abilities that can help turn the tide and contribute to that cost, so have fun finding those out. But how do I keep them paid and employed with no health benefits, you might ask? Well, spaces work a bit differently on these maps. If you land on a checkered space, you'll claim it for yourself. If you land on it again, you'll earn bonus coins. If an opponent lands on it, they will pay the other player those coins. Happening spaces this time causes one of 3 events to take place, from swapping places, to powering up, to giving someone all their character spaces activated on the map. The backwards space gives you a dice block that forces you to move backwards, how shocking. It can really trip some players up, as during this, the partner in the back is now the attacker and can cause an upset to an unsuspecting opponent. The power-up space will double all the stats of your partners until you return to the start area. Be careful, as this also doubles the fee they require, which can get very expensive very fast. The space with Tumble starts a duel minigame, and it should be noted that every 5 times someone passes by Bellboy here, a bonus minigame will start, just to keep things interesting. Finally, we're gonna get to this Shy Guy soon enough, just wait. Duels will end and be decided depending on who has the most hard points left at the end of the set turns, or if someone loses all 5 before the set is over. And honestly, it's a pretty amusing mode. It's the biggest departure they've taken from the core Mario Party experience and remixed it into something with its own set of rules. I definitely don't predict playing this mode more than the classic Battle Royale, but I can see myself dueling it out with someone every now and then. Whether or not you even want to participate in duel boards, there is another mode that might force you to do them regardless. For the first time in Mario Party, there is a proper story mode. Instead of the intro of this game simply being mere flavor text to explain why we're playing Mario Party this time, story mode uses that as a reason to take you on a grand tour of every battle royale and duel board in the game. Starting a new game, you realize you can only choose from the original 6 characters and not Daisy or Waluigi. Why? It's the N64 era. It's too early to tell them that they matter less. I don't usually ever play as either of those two, but come on, that's just rude. There's not even a very good reason for them being shafted. But while we're here on this menu, you are treated to maybe the most peaceful short loop of music I've ever heard in a Mario Party, or in most games for that matter. Man, it's almost soothing enough to make me forget how disappointed my father is in me. The whole setup and flow of story mode is pretty easy to follow. You want to collect 7 stamps, each representing a trait. After you do a battle royal versus 3 CPUs, the character who represents the stamp the most will challenge you one-on-one on a duel board. Beat them and you'll earn the stamp. Rinse and repeat until you've cleared every single board in the game to be deemed the greatest superstar in the universe. You know, the sort of thing Mario characters just do on a Sunday. As basic as it is, there are some funny aspects thrown in here as well. Bowser is here, as he always is, but in story mode, he's kinda lagging behind. A lot of the scenes in between getting the stamps is Bowser and those Koopa kids just barely missing out on causing trouble for your group. Bowser was really growing into his own as comic relief. He is impossible to dislike. I am of the opinion that we all know a Bowser at some point in our lives. There's another standout in this mode. See, here's how it goes. All the stamps that you collect are always the same for every playthrough, right? But that means that the character that you choose would eventually need to defend their honor and duel you for the stamp that represents them the most. But how would Mario fight Mario for the courage stamp, you ask?
I'm the best.
Oh lord, he coming. And he wants his spaghetti. Whichever character that you choose, it's Luigi that takes their place to 1v1 them, no matter how silly or unfitting the paired stamp is for Luigi. It is my firm belief that this story mode is canonically Luigi's, since he is the only one to battle every opponent with their respectively matching stamp. This is truly meant to be the tale of Luigi becoming the greatest superstar in the universe, and that we are all simply pawns, mere specks of stardust in his grand scheme for universal domination. This is what I believe, but that's just speculation. Don't look too deep into it. And then you get moments like this. Ooh, they're gonna need some couples therapy. Blowhard? Wait, what? Where are they going? Where is this going? Where are you two going? This is rated E for everyone! Obviously, it's not the most compelling mode ever, and it's more of an excuse to keep playing the game. I will tell you this though, at the end of story mode, there is a legit plot twist. Genuinely something that I didn't see coming. I'm not talking like Charles Dickens level of literature here. Mario plots are kind of predictable and all. But there's just a little something that made me go, wow, I actually didn't expect that. But when you complete story mode and earn your final ranking, your character's face will be forever enshrined on Mount Mario More. When you complete one, you might get compelled to do them all. Don't feel like you have to, but if you do, that one guy from Codename Steam would be so proud of you. So that's it, right? Definitely everything that we needed to cover about Mario Party 3. Nothing else. Alright everyone, have a good one. See, alright, fine. Let's talk about gambling. This is Game Guy, your best friend or worst enemy. We have something of a troubled history with each other, and soon you will too. On every battle royal and duel map, you'll have the chance of landing on his rare space. And when you do, you must give him all of your coins. Every single coin in your possession. And you will be forced into a minigame where you must wager the entire amount against your will to, at the very minimum, maybe double your coins? There are 4 different minigames that you might play. Game Guy's magic boxes are as simple as it gets. It's a 50-50 shot and picking toad will double your coins. You can then double your winnings not once, but twice if you keep getting the answer correct. I highly do not advise this, as only a fool would push their luck and not cash out early with this guy, which means of course I'm going to try it anyways. The roulette is a cruel minigame in which you pretty much put your chip on the board and pray to the gamble gods that you land on that space. ×2 is the safest option of course, but I just feel like this minigame goes way out of its way to make me lose. Sweet Surprise is probably the easiest one of the bunch. You bet on which Chain Chomp will eat their cake first based on the multiplier and the comments that they make before selecting them. I have so rarely seen the little chomp win, this is almost a gimme. So if you're stuck playing this one, rejoice! Finally comes the fan favorite, Game Guy's Lucky 7. Both of you will roll a traditional die and ascend up these 7 steps. The goal is to land either one space over or at least on the same space as Game Guy to double your coins. Or if you land directly on the 7, your coins will multiply by 10, which is truly some bonkers shenanigans if that happens. But if you go even one space past 7, you will automatically lose everything. Just the definition of high risk, high reward when it comes to landing on Game Guy's space. It can give you all the spending coins you want and the coins start instantly if you win during Battle Royale. And the difference between having plenty of money to pay your partners in a duel, or going completely broke and unable to pay for, well, anything. And if you just so happen to find the rare lucky charm item, you can force any player, including yourself, to bet all their coins and play for big money. This can very easily backfire, so be careful. Oh yeah, and if you really hate your life, you can play round after round of Game Guy minigames as well, as you try to win a total of 1,000 coins. There are very few things as chaotic as this gambling shy guy in any Mario Party since, for better or for worse. Honestly, it means a lot to be able to talk about and play this game with friends. I was an only child with an N64, like the one console that promoted the most multiplayer gameplay sessions, and it was really hard to rope people in to play any Mario Party with me. But now it's just so easy now. We have online and it makes these things more possible than ever. I didn't have that back then, and it's just so special to be able to share these moments with friends now. Better late than never, you know? Like, at the end of the day, what does it matter if I have like 500,000 views on the video, you know? What does it matter? Why does it matter? What our follower counts look like? Whether you have a code for Blue Sky or if somebody subscribes to you on Twitch, because at the end of the day, they're just a bunch of dumb numbers. The only numbers that really count are the ones you can use to contact your friends. And how many stars that you have. Coins too. Coins are important as well, but mostly stars. But that's my little peek in history with Mario Party 3. I can't believe this Mario Party is finally coming out and being released. It's been such a long time coming. But what is your favorite Mario Party? Do you have fond memories of playing 3 before, or will this be your first time? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming for more features about our favorite games, old and new. We have our Twitch channel, Good Vibes Arcade, which will more than likely be having some Mario Party shenanigans coming to it very soon. And just for $1 on Patreon, you can join our exclusive Discord with our fellow partygoers, where you can tell us what your favorite minigame is. Mine is probably Mario Puzzle Party, where the game is definitely not left up to chance at all whatsoever. Because Game Guy has given me multiple cases of financial and emotional damage. I shouldn't have bet it all on Bob-omb. Now how am I going to buy the sauce for Luigi's spaghetti? Thanks for watching everyone, till we meet again.